Hey everyone, I'm Jessica, and today I am excited to talk about Paper Tales. Both what makes this a cool game, and in particular, some of the things that make it a really unique solo game. Also, it has a really unique box cover. But this is Paper Tales, and you will notice the size a little easier, but the base game is for 2 to 5 players. So there is actually an expansion, which I consolidated boxes, so the expansion is called Beyond the Gates. I don't have the box anymore because one box is much easier to store on these shelves. But Paper Tales is a really neat game where you have all these cards that have a very unique sort of like paper style to them, like a paper craft artwork style, but there's different ones. They all do different things. But the really cool thing is that you go through and the cards actually age. So you kind of play through, it sort of simulates history, if you will, in that a card typically isn't going to stay out for too long. So for instance, there's cards in the game like the mystical hero, the mystical healer, who can actually prevent a unit from dying so they stay out a little bit longer. The biggest part of the game, though, is the draft. And in solo games, simulating a draft is a very difficult thing to do. Oftentimes you'll see just kind of random card draws, you're picking a couple, discarding a few. It doesn't always simulate that multiplayer feel of creating tension and, trying to see what other players are picking. But here, there is this fantastic friend called the Lich King, who is the opponent, and this has one of the best solo drafts that I've seen, because what you're doing is when you draft cards in the solo mode, you are choosing what you pick up, but you are then deciding what the Lich King gets. So whatever cards you're not picking will go to your opponent. And he gains points for certain cards, so you have some goals, especially later on, because you kind of form this whole chain of different abilities that the Lich King gains over time. So early on, you might just be looking for, I don't want to give him any cards that produce wood or gems or something like that. But later on, there's a lot. Oh, you can get 5 points from that. They could get 2 points from this. What do I want to take? And I need that card, but I really don't want to give away these points. So it's a really neat draft that goes very quickly because, again, you're just looking at a few cards at a time, discarding them into a pile that the Lich King is then going to take. And you're going to be battling against him. The nice thing about this, too, are summary cards, which I always love in board games, especially for solo, just because I enjoy not having to rifle through a rulebook so much. But the sequence of play is very quick, very simple, and the other cool thing that Paper Tales does really well is the cards that you're drafting actually go out in front of you, but you have kind of your front line, which is usually just 2 cards, and kind of your reserve or your back line, kind of simulating more of who's in town, who's in the village. So typically, you can only have 4 cards maximum, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. But when you have that war phase, those battles, each round, only your front line, typically, again, there's some exceptions, but typically just the front line gets to battle. So figuring out, resource production versus, do I even want to participate in this battle right now? Or should I save up to build something? Because another cool thing, and this looks like a lot, but it's really not. There's a lot. It's just cards, and then there's also a set number of buildings that start and play in the game. And there's the level 1, which provides benefits. That's great, but you can also upgrade a building to the level 2 value. And the level 2 cards, where am I here? Right there. Up at the top. What that's saying is you can actually have 3 cards in your front line. So buildings make you more powerful, give you more options, and the card combinations are really, really neat. The buildings play a role in that, but there's tons and tons of cards. That's not even actually, excuse me. Let's grab them all. This is how many cards are in the game. You're not going to see them all. There's duplicates of some. There's, a lot of unique cards that do different things. the archer can fight from the back. So there's that exception I was saying before. And I like it because it tells kind of a simple story. Militiaman, that's helpful too. I mean, there's some let's grab some of the cool ones. There's monster cards, like that one. It has more power if you produce at least some food or meat, because of course it's going to be more powerful because you're feeding it properly. It doesn't have to go out and hunt. And it all plays very quickly. These games probably 20, 30 minutes tops for me playing solo. And there's multiple difficulty levels. The Lich King can start off with certain abilities. You can really make this difficult and give him a lot of different options at the start. I struggle to beat it. I forget which difficulty level I'm at, but it's probably near the bottom to the middle. And I just find it really challenging. I'll often lose by a couple of points. And to me, that's always a good gauge of I need to get better at this game, but it's within reach. And I still have several difficulty levels to go after that. So Paper Tales, again, with Beyond the Gates for solo, is just a really neat game, especially with that solo draft. It's very hard to find good solo drafting games. And this one kind of completely flips it around. It does something different with it without really changing the game a whole lot. You have an opponent, but it does feel like that opponent is doing things that feel organic. Maybe that's not the right word, but they feel like they are making decisions, and you have some authority in those decisions and saying, am I going to pick up the cards that I really need, or am I going to pick up the cards that are going to take points away from the Lich King, and then maybe I'll do something with these. Because the other thing, I don't know if I mentioned, but there are coins in the game, so every card has a cost to play it. So, I mean, I'm pulling all the ones, but I mean, most of these I see are like 0 or 1, but the fabled Kraken is going to take some resources to get out there. So lots of cool decisions, but in a very kind of compact space, again, that only plays in about 20 to 30 minutes. And those are a lot of the reasons why I really enjoy Paper Tales. Need to get it to the table again, like all my games. But hopefully that's one worth checking out if you see it out there. So that should be it for, wait, we should make a joke here. That is my tale of Paper Tales. As always, thanks for watching and take care. Bye.